Michael Wilbon joins us. And Michael, before we get to the game, I want you to put us in that building. Pre-game, game, post-game. How electric was it?
Wow. I'm Neil. I've been doing this for a long time. I think this is my 33rd or 34th final. I lost count. And I've never seen anything quite like it. And you know what? There's never been anything quite like it. We're talking about an entire country. They're a national entity, and the passion was different. And so you could feel that was palpable in this arena, particularly at the beginning of the game and as the Raptors fought off the Warriors.
All right, from the buzz to the buzzsaw that was the Raptors, especially Siakam. What's your big takeaway from what you saw from both sides?
Man, my biggest takeaway, Neil, is that the Raptors can play defense. I mean, they can defend. They are long, they are athletic, and they played hard. And it's not like they shut out the Warriors. They didn't do that. Clay and Steph, got in a little bit of a groove at different times, and they kept getting it to single digits, but they couldn't close it anymore. And that speaks to me largely to the Raptors' defensive effort. They carried over what they'd done against Milwaukee right into the finals against the champs.
All right, in honor of PTI, let's do What's the Word. Golden State will be blank for Game 2 on Sunday.
Readier. Is that a word? Can I do that?
It is now.
Would that
if you
pass
said
the
it, it
spelling
is.
bee people? Readier.
You're Michael Wilbon.
And readier. Listen, my mother taught school for a long time. I could be in trouble when I get back to the phone and she says, readier. Where'd you get that? And I'm talking about specifically for that defense that we just talked about. I mean, Clay and Steph with, 35 shots total. Didn't shoot a great percentage. They weren't terrible, but I got a feeling we're going to see the Splash Brothers take it up a notch. I don't know what that's going to result in, but I think those guys in particular, and by the way, I'm going to include Andre Iguodala in that. What was he, like 3 for 7, but he had a couple like air balls, and he could have helped them tonight, and I think he will help them in Game 2.
Michael Wilbon, our show is better when you're on it.
Thanks, Neil.
Stephen A. Smith joins us. He has long been a guy. And Stephen A., I don't know if you were able to hear my conversation with Pascal, but one of the things he said was, okay, well then I'll just let you know, one of the points he made was that he said there's no pressure tonight. And I said, how do you make Game 1 of the NBA Finals a no-pressure situation? But he was spectacular. Gasol was great, and he was great on the defensive end. What was your impression of the way this game was won? Is it a Raptors defense? Is it Siakam? For you, the headline here is what?
Well, I think it was the combination of the Raptors defense and the fact that Andre Iguodala was absolutely no factor whatsoever offensively. He was helping to play good defense on Kawhi Leonard, but offensively, he was a no-show, and that's not something that you can bank on for the Golden State Warriors to win a championship. Toronto's defense was absolutely exceptional. Pascal Siakam hit 14 of 17 shots, got open on the break, got some baskets on the break, but also was driving to the basket with vigor, was trying to make things happen. Marc Gasol came in the game. When he was in the game, Nick Nurse made sure to get him the basketball. He scored 20 points, hit 6 of his 10 shots. But the key thing for me is Toronto's size, their ability to switch, and their ability to double obviously was a very, very significant factor. When Golden State doubled Kawhi Leonard, other guys stepped up. When the Toronto Raptors doubled Steph Curry, virtually no one stepped up. Klay Thompson may have had 21 points, may have hit 8 of 17 shots and what have you, but where was anybody else? Iguodala wasn't making shots. Draymond Green wasn't making shots. Obviously, there was no one else to speak of that was really making shots for the Golden State Warriors, and I expected Andre Iguodala, a person that was going to have a multitude of open shots available to him, to be more of an offensive factor. He was not, and that was very, very surprising. So as far as I'm concerned, that was obviously a big factor. You're going to have to get some help for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in order to win this series.
Toronto is a team that clearly has played its best basketball in these last 5 games. They found something against Milwaukee. They rode it to these finals. And now, riding the emotion of an incredible crowd, they play a great game. How sustainable, Stephen A., do you feel like what we saw tonight was? Because we know how drastically things can change. But do you feel like tonight is a repeatable performance for the Raptors?
Well, I don't think it's a repeatable performance if Golden State is making shots. Remember, I just pointed out how Steph Curry had 34 points, hit all 14 of his free throws. You look at Klay Thompson, he contributed 21 points.
Right.
Nobody else really stepped up and provided anything offensively, and they were still within striking distance within the last 5 minutes of the game.
Agreed.
So take that into consideration, understanding that, again, can you rely on Pascal Siakam to score 32 points? I don't think so. Can you rely on Marc Gasol to score 20 points? I don't think so. But I do think the key is, number one, you can depend on the 15 points that Van Vliet gave you, and you can depend on somebody else giving you some kind of offensive contribution, which basically means if you're the Golden State Warriors, somebody has to step up on the offensive side of the ball and help out Steph and Klay. Give me about 15 points, whether you're Iguodala, you're Livingston, you're Looney, anybody that you can find. Well, give me something offensively.
Well, they got a guy that wears number 35 that if he can put the jersey on at some point, obviously changes things drastically. I mean, when and if. I wonder, Stephen A., I mean, look, he came with him, and all I could do was connect the dots in my mind and think, well, maybe this means he's available for game 2 if necessary. I mean, tonight showed that was necessary. I wonder, and I'm only guessing and talking out loud to you, whether this ramps up the desire for Golden State to say, look, can you give us something tonight? Do you think that conversation takes place? No?
No, not before game 2. I think it could potentially take place before game 3 at the Oracle next Wednesday, but I don't think it's necessary to take place before then. I think if somebody had hit shots tonight other than Steph Curry and a little bit from Klay Thompson, other than those two, if somebody had hit shots, I think Golden State still would have won this game. So I think you come back for game 2 understanding that somebody needs to provide something offensively. Get out. Practice, shoot 200, 300 jump shots a day for all I care. Figure out something to make a contribution on the offensive side of the ball, and I think they will be fine. But let's not disrespect Toronto. They're obviously a great team.
Yep.
They're a great defensive team. They've got size. They've got athleticism. They know how to play collective defense. These guys know what they're doing. But Golden State had its opportunities despite everything that I'm pointing out about how great Toronto's defense was. It still were in striking distance. It's just that nobody really showed up to help out Steph and Klay. That's simple.
All right, think of this last answer as a tweet. You only have but 200 characters. How good was the environment that you were in tonight in Toronto?
Electric. Inside and outside. Actually, outside was better than inside, and inside was electric. That good enough for you?
Perfect. Hit send. See you in the morning. Thank you, Stephen A. Appreciate you.
All right, my man.
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Stephen A. Smith. All right, you see, the most consecutive wins against the Warriors, against in the Steve Kerr era. I always say it that way just because he makes fun of the Steve Kerr era. The Cavaliers got 4. Raptors 3-0 this year. Now, look, regular season, I never care. Kawhi didn't play out by the band. They still crushed him. Remember? He didn't even play and they crushed him. Whatever. 1-0 right now. That's what matters. But they have won 3 in a row this year. All right, what was that thing he was wearing? No, I don't expect you to know what that unless you know if is it couture? What was that he was wearing?
You're talking about the sweater after the game that was
I don't know. It was like an orange thing.
It was bright orange.
Yeah, it was kind of like a bath mat.
I'll just say, he got asked about it after the cameras were off for information on where he got it, and he refused to reveal.
Okay.
So I'll get on the investigation as soon as we're done with the interview.
It's really not that important. What is important is we saw him grab at that left hamstring. What sense is there about how much that's going to linger?
Yeah, so they were working on him on the bench, working on that left leg. Now, it was a calf in the last round. He was grabbing his thigh in this issue, and then he tweaked it again. He said that he's fine and he'll be ready to go for game 2. Steve Kerr said we'll have an update tomorrow, which indicates there could be some imaging, although they didn't commit to that. He did not stay for extended treatment after the game, and he did not walk off with a terrible limp, but he's clearly dealing with an issue, and the 9 days off that they had between games did not clear it up. So that's definitely something to monitor.
All right, we saw Boogie for some, which surprised me. I was shocked that happened, but we did see him play in this game. You told me last series that they would not go to Durant until they trailed. Well, now they trail. Does this ramp up the whether he's ready or not? We got to try to get you out there kind of deal.
I am told no, that the plan remains that he will not play in game 2. They will try to get him out there for a practice between games 2 and 3, see how he reacts to that. It's going to be game 3 at the earliest. Scott, let's just be honest here. If they get down 2-0, I think there's a very good chance you're going to see Durant in Game 3. They've got no reason not to, but I don't think you're going to see him come to the rescue on Sunday. And as for Boogie, they were encouraged by the way he played tonight, but you just heard Steve Kerr say they had trouble in transition, and that's where Boogie is struggling. He can't get back in transition. When he's out there, the Raptors try to run even more. So Steve Kerr's got a difficult situation here. Boogie probably earned some more minutes, but I don't know if that's the exact antidote for the way that the Raptors play. That's something to watch. I did talk to Boogie after the game. He was very he wasn't happy about the loss, but he was cool with his role. It wasn't causing any issue with him. He was happy to be out there.
Steve Kerr used the term dare shots for Gasol. Like they were going to okay, if Gasol and Siakam are going to go for 50-something, then they're going to deal with it. I mean, I guess they'll roll with that approach again?
That's right. Now let's go back 2 weeks ago when they played the Blazers.
Right.
They were like, look, Damian Lillard is not going to win this series against us. We're going to take him out of it. So the same game plan was employed on Kawhi Leonard tonight. They forced the ball out of his hands. He only took 14 shots. They were thrilled with that. Obviously, Siakam had one of the best games we've seen for a rookie in finals history. Gasol had a great game. The Warriors are confident and collected, and they believe that game plan is going to work. They think they can clean up the transition. They'll be just fine.
Brian, appreciate it. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Pascal Siakam earlier, he stopped by and sat down with us after a spectacular performance. You see, Marc Gasol's plus-minus for the postseason, speaking of spectacular, it's pretty tidy. Thought it was interesting. Steve Kerr said they gave him some dare shots. In other words, yeah, go ahead and shoot it, big man. And he did. Hitting from three, hitting down low. 14 in the first half, most in any half in the postseason. There it is right there. Go ahead and shoot it, big boy. All right, well then, how about in your eye hole? And then this is where, when I was watching the game with Tim Legley, we were both just really impressed with the physicality of the defense and his role in it. Jumping out there to challenge Steph in the pick and roll. And they've got so much length between Siakam, Leonard, obviously Gasol. Again, challenge, be physical. Block shots as needed. Gasol did a little bit of everything. 9-point victory. Contributions here almost can't be measured, but you see the obvious results they lead to. A big night in the box score and a seat with us on the show. After 20 points, 7 rebounds, and monstrous contributions on the defensive end, Marc Gasol joins the show. Congratulations, first of all, on the win. And before I get to your contributions, you wait your life for a night like this, right? You're in the finals. The city's waited forever. How would you describe what the city and your performance, how they kind of combined tonight to produce what it did?
Obviously everyone is very excited, but we can't get distracted, with all the outside things that are going on. We got to dissect the game, understand what Golden State is trying to do, offensively and defensively, get to our spots. They got counters for everything. They're going to make a lot of shots, but we got to stay poised.
What were you most pleased with what you were able to do on the defensive end, and your contributions there were so significant? What will please you most when you guys look back at what you did tonight?
I thought the second half we did a better job of finishing possession with rebounds. First half I thought we gave up 13 second chance points. Second half I thought that we did a better job. At least it felt that way. I don't know if it was or not. But I think there's still a lot of room to grow. It's going to be a long series.
Offensively, was it the plan to shoot as much as you did, or was it simply a matter of, hey, man, if you're going to give them to me, I'm going to take them?
Yeah, and having that mindset of whenever they give you a open look, take it, and that's about it.
All right, last quick thought. Pascal Siakam, how do you describe the young man who's really ascended this year and what he provided tonight?
He keeps going downhill. He keeps being aggressive. He's confident. I just like when he plays aggressive and he attacks the basket like that.
Thanks so much for taking the time. Congratulations. 3 more till you guys can have a parade. I know you guys won't celebrate yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Take care.
Time to do your research on Game 1. Great start for the home team thanks to Siakam, Pascal Siakam. 11 consecutive makes in this one. The second time this postseason he's made 10 in a row. LeBron, the only other player to do that in the last 20 postseasons. Toronto got it and ran. You heard Curry and Kerr both lament the fact that they didn't get back on defense. They outscored the Warriors by 8 in transition. The most points in transition the Warriors have allowed in these playoffs, 26 of them, tied for the second most the Raptors have scored. On defense, Raps got in the face of the Splash Brothers. Steph and Clay 6 of 23 on the shots that were contested by Raptors defenders, 26%. It's a good reason that the Raptors were able to take this game 1 at home. This is interesting to me, man. Vegas made Golden State like minus 300, right,
Okay.
for the series, Steve.
Yeah.
Toronto has home court, right?
Yep.
They're favored tonight.
Yep.
Right? They're favored again in game 2.
Yep.
So how the hell is Golden State a minus 300 favorite if Toronto's going to be favored every time they play at home and they have 4 home games?
I'll give you another one. Golden State's still favored for the series, minus 1.